Hey, I am Gerard the one.
Shall be out and bad.
Rob the voice.
And today, sorry, that's right. And today we are joined by Israel Duncan, who is mainly based in philanthropy. Am I saying that right? Philanthropy.
Yes.
Philanthropy,
That's
yes.
correct.
All right, nice. Israel, you worked a lot with children in homes. Tell us about that.
Youths, I like to say youths
All right.
and adolescents.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. So that's, I wouldn't say children. I would say youth and adolescents.
Young
if you
people.
Want, if you
Young
want to be
people.
specific, I think that there are songs that talk about them being the future of the nation, and I think that what we feed the future of the nation is what the nation will be tomorrow.
Very much so.
So that is one of the reasons that I do what I do. Also, I had an excellent father figure. My dad, I lived in a household with both parents all my life, and I couldn't ask for a better dad. And I know a lot of youth can't say the same thing. So I try to share, and relate to them that way.
How important is the father figure in a home?
Very much so.
Is there anything else? Sorry. That's how important I think it is.
Yes.
Yes, mommy is very important, but there's something about that manliness, that positive manliness, and listen, not just positive, negative as well, has just as much effect, because parents don't understand how much children want to be them, no matter who they are or what they are. So yes. My dad may not be doing right things, but he's my dad. But if my dad is doing it, then there should be something okay about it. That's my dad. And same with my mom. So parents and adults in general need to understand that what they do. We teach children mostly not in class. They are taught by what they see, what they experience, what they hear. And then you're going to tell them, hey, don't say that. But they heard you saying it. So we need to understand that we have such a huge influence on their lives, even when we think they're not looking.
Exactly.
And when we think they're not looking is exactly when they're looking.
Because a lot of children tend to copy and mimic exactly what their parents do.
Yes.
And as you said, doesn't matter if it's right or wrong.
Exactly.
Right? You are the first beast of contact with them most times.
Exactly.
Right? And yes, you would always love your mother, but at the end of the day, for most people, a mother could never replace the presence in which a father figure would have, the authority in which a father figure would be able to lay down in the household.
Yes.
And that is a big problem I find we as young people growing up without father figures would experience.
Yes.
Right? So,
And not just father figures, because they are father figures, but the positive.
positive father figures as well.
So how then do you bridge this gap then between a child or adolescents or youth that have this absence of the father figure and your mentorship? Because I know it would be difficult. You grew up without a father, and then suddenly somebody's coming and trying to talk to you, trying to say, oh, I want to put myself as this figure for you. How do you bridge that gap in working with these youths?
So from a general sense, I would say it's extremely difficult because there are so little of us who try to give that positive impact. There's so little of us, and the demand for it is so great. There's so many children that need what we do, right? What I try to do is use the experiences that I would have gone through in my life, the things that the Lord would have allowed me to go through. At the time when I was going through it, I was thinking, why me, Lord? Why am I going through this?
Exactly.
I'm not that bad a person that I should be going through this. But we never know. We always have a plan, but we never know what God's plan is for us.
Correct.
And it's only when He directed me down that path is when I understood, okay, that's why I went through that. That's why I went through this. That's why to be able to relate to these youth, because the first thing they want to know when you come to talk to them is, who are you? What you know about me? What you know about my life?
Why you feel you could talk to me?
Yeah. You ever went a whole day without food?
Exactly.
What you know about
you
that?
You can't relate to what I've been through.
Your uncle ever touched you in a place that was inappropriate? What you know about that? But you coming to talk to me. And that's when I understood, hey, everybody wants to know that they are not the only person going through this.
Yes.
they want to know that, hey, Jared went through this and Jared could share with me, well, how he got through it, what methods he would have used to succeed through that trauma or that traumatic period. So these youth love stories. Everybody loves stories. And I have a lot of stories. So I kind of teach and mentor through stories, through a lot of real experiences. And I'm always looking for more stories. So if I hold Jared in a one-on-one, I want to know his story. I want to know what he's been through. Because it could help somebody. His story could help somebody. I've been known to tell other people's stories to youth, and it helps. So it's not just about my stories, any story that will help. Because when you meet up on a youth that really need help, you just have to dig in your bag and get stuff for them, And a lot of time, God guides me. A lot of time, I don't know what I'm going to say to these youth, and I just,
you say the correct things.
Yeah, I just pray before I speak, and I go up there and I open my mouth and use me, Lord. So.
Yeah, and I know we spoke about this before we put the mics on and stuff, but I was telling Israel that me, myself, I am a thespian, so I work in the theater, but I doing a line of work where we use theater in education and drama in education to speak about certain social issues. So we've touched in different organizations, different campaigns and whatnot, and we find that it is the storytelling. Yes, because we use scenes of little scenes that we would have written and show them. So that is a story in itself. But a lot of times, the most impactful parts of the sessions and workshops is when they tell their own stories, or we may share our personal stories, because we want them to know we aren't just performers and we didn't come to mind all the business. We have things that we went through as well. Look, we kind of making it doing something, or it could do something too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that being a motivating factor for the youth.
Right. And at the end of the day, everybody has a story to tell. Everybody. And as you quite rightfully said, Israel, that somebody's story my story might not impact Jared, but it might impact somebody else. So at the end of the day, your story could be used to help somebody else. And as you said, you don't have to be a motivator. You don't have to be in a particular field, right? Because our friends who come and they talk to me about certain issues they have been going through. And you look at it and you wouldn't believe that, okay, you're going through
that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Exactly. A lot of us, we know how to hide our emotions and hide our feelings because we tend to think, okay, well, what I'm going through, nobody else is going through that, or how that person going to perceive me or watch me, are they going to judge me? And a lot of people always are in fear of that, and they wouldn't go and speak out about it. And then you could go and, as you said, rightfully talk to them. Just a simple conversation, and that will open the doors, and they realize, oh, well, I always thought you had it this kind of way, the way in which you related. Okay, I could now relate to you, and that opens up. And just by simply speaking to people, that has a whole different impact on them. And you might think it's nothing, but to them, that is the world to them. For them just to open up and speak to you and share their stories as well.
Israel, always thought the hardest part was, like, for someone, a youth that speaking to you, the hardest part would be their fear of their trust in you.
Right.
That would be the hardest part. How you deal with that?
And
how do you get them to trust you?
And he started speaking about it.
Right.
Sorry. As saying he. Rob started speaking along that line. You have to open up first, right? And I was about to say when Rob was completed that I had challenges with that, thinking, okay, if I share this, how are they going to look at me? How is this young man going to now perceive me?
Right.
I had real challenges with that.
Unfair.
And I realized, hey, for the greater good, I need to open up myself for these youth to be able to open up and listen. Magic. It works like a charm. Take your dirtiest story and open it and say, look. And when they see that and they look at the person that you are today, having gone through that and having experienced that, they're like, okay, so I actually have hope.
Exactly. So motivating factor.
And we are creatures of hope,
Right, so they could relate to you. That's why then they start to feel comfortable.
Yes,
right.
yes, right. Definitely.
I think too, added to that, besides feeling comfortable, I think they're more inclined to listen. Sometimes, like when I do my work, we try to open up as soon as possible just so that they cling on to us and listen, because they have a tendency to feel like we come into lecture and they calling you miss, and we like, oh, we need this. We just tell them, put away them books and pencils and pen and thing. We ain't come to do them things. I have no
Right.
taking notes. This is us being part of each other, sharing whatever we need to share in what we call a safe space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think it kind of translates to other things too, because it's kind of like a parent-child relationship where
True.
sometimes you feel like, I want to talk to them, but oh God, they're going and lecture me, they're going and
True.
say, you don't know what they're going to say already. Oh gosh, best I don't go to mommy, they wouldn't understand. They will say, oh, well, this and that, the other, and it's a whole long lecture. And I feel like we want to maintain a relationship where you want to motivate and whatnot, but you also want to ensure that we are here to talk to each other and learn from each other. I'm not here to
Exactly.
teach you alone. You're also here
You
to
get
teach me, and you are that valuable.
And that we not better than
Yeah,
them.
No
you
worries
are
about that.
so worthy that you have a lot to teach me as well. I don't know everything,
Right?
and I don't know all the stories in the world. Yeah.
And even to add to Shelby's point, right? And she said listening. And one thing I would also want to add to is that listening goes both ways. So the same way you want them to listen to you, you also have to be receptive and be willing to listen to their story as well, right? So you could draw certain analogies and, okay, well, I'll listen to what you said, I actually been through something similar, or it would reach a point where, okay, I listen to what you're saying, I mightn't have done that, but just based on what you're saying, I could give you certain experiences and certain lessons that you could also learn. So as I say, listening goes on both ways and both
Right.
platforms, right?
That's the very true. And sometimes that's all they need. You open the space for conversation, and then you would be surprised. You would have to be taking notes. You would have to, because they have so much.
Exactly.
You would believe some of the things these youths going through, and how many things. And you're saying at 20 years you've been through this already. You've been through that. They're like, wow, you could write a book.
Exactly. And some of their stories could, same way in which your story could help them, their stories could also help you at some point in your life as well.
Yes, I have used some of their stories to help some of their peers. And sometimes the peers right there with each other, and Jared don't know that Shelby going through this, and I have to, share some. I'm not using a name, but I'm sharing. Hey, well, yes, there's a certain youth that went through this, and he or she would have done this to get through that traumatic thing, and whatnot. So sometimes their peer stories help them, because it's so relatable.
Exactly.
I used to think that the only way you could get into philanthropy is with the use of money. So you go and spend a big set of money to help out some children somewhere or youth somewhere, right? What are some other ways that you can exercise philanthropy?
So I like stories, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna give you a very short story.
Story time.
Yeah. so there's this very rich couple, and she married into the money, and she didn't want for anything, nothing. The vehicle that she wanted to drive, vehicles, the house that she wanted, the clothes that she wears, the jewelry, everything. And he didn't give her time. And she would go to this restaurant, and this waiter,
Yes, I know this story.
he would recognize if her hair changed, if she did her eyebrows differently. And I don't have to tell you where that ended up.
Right.
So money is not always everything. They're interested in your time. And I have gone into impoverished areas already and hear the statement, yeah, they only just come here for the day or for the week. After that, I'm gone. And it shocked me from who it was coming from. A quote-unquote gangster. And I could hear what he's not saying. He's yearning for somebody to
To
talk
stick
to him
around.
and stay with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And this
stick
is an
around.
adult I'm speaking of.
Mhm,
And he's a gangster. He likes what he's seen happening, but he's saying, hey, you're only here
Yeah.
for a week. What
Yeah.
are we going to do after that?
Exactly.
You know?
And that's an important thing because a lot of people like to put on a show. Right?
Yeah.
And I feel that's exactly the point you're getting at.
A
Don't
wall.
come here to put on a show and papi show this
Yes.
and say, hey, we care about you, But after the week pass, there's no more checkup. There's no,
Nothing.
hey,
Nothing.
how you all going? I know I haven't been here because I was caught up for the past month or two.
Right.
I came back to see if we're making any progress. It's none of that. So, you just come here. Don't come here to put on a show to say that you care or you come to help the youth. And after your time or your session is over, that's it. And you go about your life. And they have to go about their lives. The same thing they tell you that they face and they don't want to go through. They have to go through it yet again.
Yeah. And there's a term for it. A lot of them have this syndrome. The name not coming to me right now. The abandonment syndrome.
Abandonment, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some people who you are friendly and you make an attempt at them and they would not respond. Not because they don't want to, but they already thinking at the end, okay, well, he not going to be around for any time. So I not going to
Put
attach
myself out
myself
there.
Wow.
to that. So because of that, you find that, and then Rob might have the opinion, okay, well, she or he standoffish. It's not that they
stush.
really want to grab on, but they're so afraid of, okay, well, how long Rob going to be around for?
right.
Exactly.
Before
They're
he
free to let
abandoned.
down those walls.
Yeah.
They're free to let down those walls.
Yeah. So,
Israel, do you think friends could ever be more than family?
I've grown into a saying that families never always blood, right?
That's a strong statement.
No, I
That's a very strong statement.
I totally agree with what you're saying there. Totally.
Yes. Blood is something that you can't change, right? But you see when somebody choose you,
All right.
when somebody choose you, as in not because I do have a choice, here's my family, but Rob, I choose you.
All right. Yeah.
There's something
Thing.
about that.
Yeah.
There's something about that.
Yeah.
You could always say, well, a cousin is a cousin. He had to be
He had to be a cousin.
yeah. But when
You don't have a choice.
Yeah. But when somebody say, hey, Rob, with all the things that you are, all the bad, all the negatives, with whatever good you are, and just as you are, I choose you. That that has a strength to it. That
Yeah, because even as you said with the cousin, sorry, you're cutting it off
Yeah.
there. But even you said with the cousin, at some point in time, you ever have like close friends and you start to say, hey, instead of saying that's my friend, that's my cousin.
yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the
Or my
closeness,
brother.
that's my brother.
BREDDA.
That's my brother. My brother.
You're up to date with it.
Yeah, you have to,
You have to be. You have to be.
You have to get with the times,
Yeah.
right?
You have to speak their language.
Yeah, it really is powerful when somebody chooses to spend their time. And I think it could also lend itself, to me, it could also lend itself into relationships, as in with a girlfriend or whatnot. When that person chooses you instead of like, I just with you because I don't have a choice.
Right.
Well,
Right.
you would win in first place. So, yeah, that's a red flag there. You end up in a little entanglement at some point.
Yeah, but I think the thing too is that what we don't address is that sometimes family members, they just need to cut them.
You know,
cut them
honestly,
out. They're
like-
not good. We have a lot
That's-
of family members that we keep in contact with and we keep
It's none of that.
dealing with just because
Snakes.
It's none of that.
they're
Snakes.
family.
It's none of that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
snakes.
Snakes.
They're
Yeah,
toxic.
snakes,
They're
snake in
not
the
good.
grass.
They're not good. But
Right.
but in your mind, you're like, but that is my cousin. That is my brother. That is my parents. Sometimes you just need
Yeah.
to drop them.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because-
you need to drop them.
It was saying somebody will slap you in the face 500 times and you won't do nothing. The 501st time, when they go to slap you and they chop off the hand, you are the bad person. They watch you one time in which, you chop off their hand.
Right.
Just
right.
goes to say, I'm not saying go and chop off anybody's hand or anything like that, but
Right.
to go with what Shelby is saying as well, at some point in time, you need to know when you have to detach yourself from people, right? Whether not just relationships, but also within the family aspect, because sometimes we tend to repeat certain generational curses with family by keeping attached to certain people just because, hey, that's your uncle, that's your brother, that's your mom. At the end of the day, yes, you'll always have a love for people, but the Bible says to forgive and forget, right? And I forget what you're doing, but also forget that it's my family. You're just there. Just there,
The other thing to just continue on that point. A stranger could cough you in your face and it will just physically hurt you. And you might be able to retaliate if you're that type of person and cough them back and you feel good. But when your family, be it blood or otherwise, just shove you, it hurts so much more than the cough in your face.
Yeah.
So, and family don't always realize that. So
I knew a girl, her mother used to, parents sometimes drop little comments on the children or youth, right? Where they tend to make them feel insecure. So, what you're putting on that dress for, you're looking kind of big in that, or where you're putting on that pants for, you're looking skinny in that, And I think those comments could hurt so much more than if a stranger just come and say, you ugly, or
exactly.
And I think a lot of people go through that.
No, true. On a daily basis. And to me, I believe a lot of insecurities stem from in the household itself, right? And a lot of vulnerabilities stem from in the household, right? For example, if someone doesn't get the love of a father or mother figure, let's say, use females as an example. If you were never shown that kind of love, what you immediately start to do, or a lot of them start to do, majority who elsewhere to look for that love.
Because
right?
you need it.
Because you need it, right? And even though they might get involved with somebody who might be physical with them or don't treat them a certain type of way, they start to show you love and they start to, hey, well, no, we're having sex. So sex is love, right? So you go there looking for love. Even when it be fellas, sometimes they go outside. The same way with women who go outside looking for love in men. Men also go and look for love within women, and they find love in vices as well.
Right.
Facts. So
a huge, that is so huge. That is such a huge factor. I have sat in households and listened to parents who love both children and talk one over the other in both of their presence. I'm like,
what? Yeah,
that is like
madness.
That is like a no. Why you can't be like,
and they don't know the kind of impact that has on a child. Like, even being reproachful or belittling your child. Like, I always say, it doesn't things where I would experience not like in that light, but also some things I would experience. I'm just watching certain things and be like, okay, when you reach the point that I have a family, I don't want to repeat certain mistakes. Right? And that's an important thing, because I nowhere in my mind I can comprehend how you could belittle your child or reproach your child, have a lack of communication and all that, right? And at the same breath, something was stopping that child. Oh Lord, sorry.
It's true.
And sometimes too, isn't the joking? Oh, you're so stupid, you're so ugly, you can't sing, you this and that, and you feel, oh, it's a constant joke. But sometimes, every day I hear I ugly, you think I coming outside and say, wait, I real sweet? No, you tell me I ugly since.
Exactly. And even with that, and you realize that the children start to push you away, or they start to say to themselves, oh, she feels she this, he feels he better.
They grow up.
Big man now. It's like, no, if you not treating me with certain love and respect, how you expect me to reciprocate the same things you don't show to me, to you, right? A lot of things, like even some parents who always like to bad talk their children with other people, right?
All your business out in the
all
road.
your business out in the road, right? You walking in the house and you hear on the phone, well, look, you can, y'all and pastors, he walking there. Y'all and pastors, and that way you walking. And the next breath, you want the same money they bad talking you about, the same money they want you to contribute to something else. And you're just like, but what kind of hypocrisy is this I see in here? Right? What kind of madness, right?
Or all the time you're not studying what I'm doing, but as soon as I do something good or something I can show off. Yeah, Susan, yeah, this
my daughter, you say shit.
My daughter, show it off your daughter. But
big billboard.
But where you was all the time when I struggling, and imagine you're struggling and they one, either not studying it, or two, you're getting slight comments in between, because sometimes it's not blatant, you just get it very slight,
Yeah,
but
so
even in
just
the
drop it
slight,
in
because
subtle.
it's your parents, it just
Subtle.
hurts.
Facts.
And it could be so. Let me show you how subtle it could be. You don't have to. Jared, right? Gerard.
Yes, very
You don't have to bad talk Gerard for him to feel bad. You know. You just have to constantly rate Rob constantly in Gerard's presence.
Yeah.
And just you don't have to say anything about
Deep voice.
Gerard.
That man voice real deep, boy.
You know. Yes, anytime someone comes to the house, yes, Rob play something on the piano for them now. Rob is so good on the piano.
Oh yeah, like if a child is more musically inclined than another child, and the other child would have a talent to know, but no, in way you only picking up.
Yeah,
Gerard.
in your opinion, this talent is better than that talent.
right?
Right.
I'm not gonna feel comfortable. I wouldn't want to share what my talent is with you because at the end of the day, you're putting him up on a pedestal in front of me. I will never be as good as him.
Well,
no
I
matter
mean,
what.
Rob does come first and test.
Right.
You know, yes, he's in the choir too, you know.
Right.
Yes.
Johnny Fridge.
Yes. And he's
Rob Gerard Shelby.
and he's in the Interact Club, and you know he goes to Boy Scouts on a Saturday.
He was valedictorian.
Yes, Rob is the shit.
Right.
You know, up to now you didn't say anything about Jared.
Right.
So Jared can't say a bad talking, but he didn't uplift him
At
either.
the same time, yeah.
You know, and we don't understand how much that can have an effect. That could change Jared's whole personality as an adolescent.
And it's the consistency too, because you're giving me compliments when I do these great things or these things that you could show off with, but other than that, you really studied me, so I feel like, I need to continue to do all these good things, but then I only doing that so I could get a little compliment from you, a little something, but then you start to feel like
A little appreciation.
then why doing it for? Like, you really have no purpose. I just living for my parents, but when I move out of the house and okay, so I'm doing these things.
Going
like,
on compliment.
yeah, who
Right.
can compliment me?
And even though now, like even if you get a compliment, you don't know how to react to the compliment or how to take it because you're never accustomed to it. So now you have to try to now heal from that and now work into this is exactly how it feels to get a compliment and somebody actually mean what they're saying. Yeah.
And then you walk in the mall and Rob tell you in his nice voice, "Wow, you're beautiful," and that's it. You go on
Rob,
through.
you have to say it. You have to say it.
Rob, go on with your whole soul.
Yeah, you have to say it, Rob.
because
Because,
oh my gosh, really? You think I'm beautiful? Of course.
You want to say it?
Yeah, you have to say it. You have to say it now, Rob.
Hey, excuse, cutie. You're very beautiful, I must say.
Yeah. So we set up our children. We set them up
Exactly.
in a negative way.
True.
it makes it lower because when I reach that point of height of positivity where I could get the compliments and I am your child to be proud of, when I'm in my lows, it's like, ways, I am nothing. I start to feel lower and lower. And I know I experienced this.
Right.
I know when I feel like, all right, again, things done. And it starts to be more consistent, like, all right, it's more positivity. But in the moments in between, for some reason, they feel even lower and lower each time because now you feel like you have a standard to upkeep.
Yeah.
Like, I am 2 gold stars now, and that means I need to be 4 gold stars next time. And if I am 3 gold stars, that ain't good.
Not
You're studying that
acceptable.
you are gold stars, you know. You're studying that last time I was 4, this time I was 3, so that's shaky.
Yeah.
And another thing I find that young people always look for that a lot of them don't get is sometimes an apology from a parent figure, right? And sometimes that's all a child wants sometimes, you know, just to hear, okay, well, you know, I didn't watch it from your angle. I'm sorry in the way in which I reacted or sorry in which I talked to you. And because parents always feel they're right, regardless. So it's some parents always feel, no matter how messy it, I right. As a parent, bottom line, I am right. But some children, like, They just want to hear, okay, apologize for how I reacted to the situation. And that is all that could quell the entire situation could just be resolved, but them saying, I'm sorry about this. Right? So this topic, I find this topic causes layers and layers
Yes.
and a lot
Yes.
of
Yeah.
layers to it.
Even our apologies, sometimes you get the apologies, but
It's not-
I'm sorry that I was doing this because I was
Ah,
trying
they
to
tried-
provide for you
I
because
tried
you're
to
my
make
child.
the victim, yes. They
Yeah.
tried to
All
make
of a
the victim.
sudden, you
You just
turn the
were
villain. You make me. I'm sorry, I made you and I had to provide for you, so I had to do these certain things in
I
order
did.
to get you along in this life. And it's like,
It's
well,
well, where you
okay,
come down, where you
well,
come down,
forget
apologize
it.
for, like,
I guess I sorry then.
brr.
Israel, how do you, let's say you were neglected, how do you heal from things like neglect? Let's say you have a brother and he's treated unequally to you. You are treated less than him
Right.
within the household. How do you heal from that type of neglect?
Jared, what's your age?
22.
22.
Why you ask that?
because I wanted to pull my t-shirt a little closer, and because I felt like you were looking at me when I was growing up. Why would you direct that to me like
right.
like he
Sending
was
shots.
a fly in his previous life and he saw my childhood and
Yeah.
and like he's zoning on that
Yeah,
now.
taking
I
shots,
felt
yeah.
You were the younger brother.
No, I'm the eldest of three, and I have a younger sister who I am 3 years older than, and a younger brother who I am 5 years older than. And being the eldest was bittersweet,
Right, yeah.
right? And
Both parents, right? In
yeah,
home, right?
both parents. And I'll skipping my sister for now, right? Leaving her out of the picture.
All right.
My brother and I have the same mental abilities, right? However, I am very creative and he's very dedicated, and there's a huge difference. So you would find I would be the mischievous one because I'm so creative, I'm bored out of my mind. So I'm finished what I'm supposed to do and I looking to disrupt the class, and a lot of teachers and parents don't know what to do with that. They don't even realize that it's not that the child is mischievous, it's just that he or she is so creative that they bored out of their mind. They're so past that. Okay, what's next? And they craving for something else to do. The only thing to do is to pelt Jared with a paper in the class.
Right.
And they don't even recognize that for what it really is. So I'm saying that to say that because he was so dedicated and I was so creatively mischievous, the naturally there was a certain attention that went with that. The golden child, the golden boy.
Mhm.
I would have to iron his school clothes because he needed time to study.
Oh.
Because he's the one bringing the results.
Right.
Now really good parents, which I did have, make some bad mistakes because they're human. And
Yes.
parenting doesn't come with a manual, except for me, it would be the Bible, right?
Right.
Which is also left to interpretation as well. But parenting really doesn't come with a manual, so to speak. If the phone does this, do exactly that.
Mhm.
So I lived that. And so I had to wash, I had to iron, I had to clean.
You
I
would
had
say you had more responsibility, way more responsibility than him.
Yes. And of course, I'm looking at what's being dished out to my siblings. And I felt advantaged.
Yeah, because
right?
you're doing the most, you're getting little to no appreciation. for it.
Yes.
You don't think you don't think it come with being the eldest automatically?
To some extent.
Okay.
But if you ask my brother to iron a shirt now, he can't do it.
Oh.
And I'm thinking that too much of anything is good for nothing.
Right.
Correct.
So you spoil him
Uh-huh.
No, he can't do-
into almost an
Handicapped.
invalid,
Almost handicapped,
right?
yeah.
Unless it's something academic, you can't call him.
All
Right?
work and no play makes Shaka dull
So
boy.
I'm saying bittersweet because I learned to appreciate that. Because I am the caretaker of the house in my household.
So the wifey doesn't need to worry.
Because from a young age, I was sweeping before I was half the height of the broom at home. Right? And I was always willing to do it. But I felt like I was being taken advantage of as well. Because the reward for good work is more work.
Yeah, my brother and I are complete opposites.
As in, he's handsome.
That was a shot.
Oh, wow.
No, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know if he was going into details. Just say, let me just ask.
Personality-wise, yeah,
okay.
he's a complete opposite to me. So I deal with.
So we're not
You
dealing
talking-
superficial.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. You cannot train
I throw you off. Sorry.
Yeah,
apologies.
Yeah, so I deal with more, I would say, like things to do around the house, like business-wise and things.
Right.
Like do with family business and whatnot. And
Right.
he deals with a completely different, separate set of responsibilities.
Right.
So it kind of leaves both of us handicapped in each other's fields.
Right.
Yeah, and so it's a odd thing. So I really need him because I can't cook.
Right.
I can't cook to save my life.
Right.
Right? But my brother is he want to be a chef.
Right. Okay.
But he cannot deal with things with the family business.
Right.
Like the contracts and
Right.
all those sorts of things. So I think it could, the handicappedness I can't really deal with. So I would look to him. Sometimes I would want him to do something that I do for once.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Right.
Sometimes, and he might want me to do something.
Right.
Like he might want to know why I calling him to make something
Right.
to eat.
Why you don't go and make your
Why
own
you don't go and make
macaroni?
your own thing? Exactly.
Boil some rice.
Yeah, and I would be wondering like why isn't he? And this is something my parents did from a long time, right? Why isn't he like doing the stuff that I do, and why we don't share the responsibility rather than
Right.
I do this set,
And he does that.
this set.
But
Right.
have you ever spoken to him about it? As in, you all sharing, like, hey, bro, let's see, like, show me how to make a little pasta. And
Yeah, but I'm really not interested in cooking, to be honest.
Okay, okay.
But
So-
Robbie,
Yeah. I really not
here's
interested- No, but
was
it's not
my
just
question.
cooking, but
Here was my question. Because there's a real issue, and that is what stems the uplifting of one and the downplaying of the other.
all right.
Which one is of more value to the parents? Is that a scenario in the household? Is it that they see one as more valuable to the household?
As in one son or the responsibilities?
Well, it would end up being about the person because of the
Oh, because of the
responsibilities.
responsibilities,
Yeah. Right. So
No, they never saw it that way. I grew up with both
Right.
parents. I don't have both right now.
and there's no favoritism.
No, there wasn't any favoritism.
Okay.
It was just the choice of. So when my parents call in for something,
Right.
is the or they're calling me to deal with that set of
Right.
issues.
Right.
Are we doing this and this today? Yet my brother,
he playing game in the back.
yeah, he's doing something else now,
Right.
something completely different. And when they call him for something and I doing the same,
Right.
so it cause a little riff, handicap
Between siblings, I mean?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
And your parents live with you all still?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, they cause a little riff.
What feelings you apprehended with that?
Over time, I kind of get accustomed to it. It kind of been going on for so long. No, yeah.
But
So
if you
it's
have
like a norm.
neglecting.
No, it's not. It's not the
uniform?
neglect. It's just as simple as that. It isn't like it's just him doing his thing and me doing mine.
But mutual benefit.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Because he can't do the things that I do. It's the same thing. Your brother can't iron shirts,
Right.
and you probably can't. I don't know. Probably not good at maths.
Well, I'm good enough to
Well, right,
save my
well-
life.
Well, say it was the academics now. You know, not
Right.
he was good in academics.
Right.
Probably not, you know.
Well, we both were good in academics. He was just more dedicated. I would study for half an hour and then go and play, and he would be there for 4 hours.
Because you're more all rounded then.
Yes, and I think that is another issue, a whole other issue, where we churn out academics and they don't know how to have a conversation in a group.
Yep.
And I think
Trust me. That's
so straight A's, but put them
Social
here
skills.
to sit down and they're like, oh my,
you're not
social
going to mute.
skills on
oh my gosh, what do I say?
Empty battery.
Yeah. Maths A, English A, social
The
skills
moment
E.
Rob turned to them and he looks like he's going to say something like, oh my gosh, could I go under this table? like why is he turning over here? Like, what do I do now? And you put some symbols and numbers on the wall and you're like,
Cosine, sine, tan.
yeah, that's, but another human being, and that's, you know,
Yeah.
and that's a real issue. Balance is a huge spice of life, and a lot of people lack it.
Mm-hmm. What about mental health within the
Ooh,
dealing with
taboo.
the
Why would you even bring that up?
Yeah, that's a,
Why would you
that's
even
a
bring
topic by
that up?
itself.
You know, and your ethnicity, you know, we don't talk about that. You know that. Jared, come on. Why would you even bring up that?
I mix.
We don't talk about those things. Is that even a thing?
I mix. Nah,
Jared, why would you
I know
bring...
a lot
We
of
don't have money for that
a lot of
neither.
people deal with anxiety. I think everybody deals with depression and anxiety. Isn't that a little bit
In a
like
different-
natural?
different levels.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And as we're on the topic of family as well, and you brought up depression, it has a lot of families believe that their children do not go through depression because they provide certain amenities that they weren't provided with when they were children.
So they feel all is well in the
all
world.
is well, right? So no matter if I belittle you, no matter if, you know, we have problems in this household, tension, you could tell when me and your mother fight, you know, it's also go through depression, right?
You know what? Your belly full.
Your belly, exactly.
You know?
Your belly full.
And you're the best.
Right? And
Right?
box don't just come, the box don't just be there 5 days a week,
Right?
right? You just get a little money and there you do suffer with depression. And that is a major problem I find in this society, by extension, because they think, okay, we don't need counseling. I know I have my problems, you know, and I know my problems affecting you, but don't let it affect you to the point where you come and tell me you depressed, you have problems. Because at the end of the day, as the adult, only the adults supposed to have problems in life. Your
Right.
life is sweet, and that's a problem I find really as a society need to bridge the gap with, especially the counseling, because you would never know what your children go through, and you might think what you're doing is all well and good, and when they explain that to you and you provide a listening ear, you say, man, like, wait, wow, that's really how you feel? And that are some parents who really don't care at the end of the day, because you telling me that I started to go and do my job at the end of the day, so just hurry up and get over it. But that one, what you said there, the counseling, family counseling is a major topic.
Jared, I don't know why
Okay.
you even brought up that. Look, now you have Rob talking about it, and I
Should talk about it?
just don't know what we're gonna do now. Like, how's the weather outside? How's the weather? We could talk about the weather. We actually gonna talk about it?
Yeah.
No.
We don't force anybody
As
to
I
talk
said,
about
layers upon layers in this topic by itself.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say that I have spoken in my lifetime. I'm 38 years of age, and in my lifetime, I've spoken to about 4 psychologists to get help for different things. One of them I would have, and the reason why I did it is because you learn so much about yourself. You know, a lot of people have the notion that, well, I go in and talk to Jared about... So Jared is a clinical psychologist. Why go in and tell Jared about me for? I know about me, you know?
Oh, so you had 4 psychologists for yourself?
Yes,
Oh,
I would
okay,
have went and spoken to people.
Okay,
You know, one time I was in a relationship and the person was damaged. And I was so invested in relationship. I wanted to invest more into it. So I went to understand how I should treat with that person so that we have a normal relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's because sometimes you're in a relationship with someone who's damaged, and your personality or the way that you treat with things only cause more damage. But you continue doing it because of ignorance. And I didn't want to be ignorant. So I went and I spoke to someone about it. And I did counseling for myself. She did counseling for herself. And then we did counseling together. And those things are so important. And I will say this right after that. I am, if you can't see that, I am Afro-Trini, right? And you see our ethnicity, don't bring up that word. My dad, God bless his soul, I lost him in 2015. And I use the word lost loosely because I would have gained a lot from it, from him being alive. I mentioned to him, he's old school. I mentioned to him, hey, I've been to counseling a few times and thing, and if you, he almost spat on me for mentioning counseling.
Or even bring up the topic of
because he's one of those real men.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep everything to yourself.
You don't tote feelings.
Yeah, and that's another thing that we teach children just by how we live. You tell Jared is 12 years old, and he fell down and bruised his knee, and he cried.
What are you crying
I said,
for? What are you crying for?
Hey, you're a big
Yeah,
man.
man, boy.
You're a big man.
You
You're crying for.
Yeah.
Yes, Cecile.
So you teaching him.
Right.
So at 12 years, you are teaching him, hey, big men don't cry when they're in pain, whether it's physical or emotional. That's
our man.
we don't
thing
do
to
that, and I'm 12, but you're telling me I'm a big man. And then in another scenario,
2 weeks on the road, you're a little child. Yeah, child.
Yeah.
Know your place.
You're confusing
please.
it. You're confusing the poor child.
Right,
You're
right,
confusing the poor child. So I would advise anybody. You may not have an issue, a glaring issue, but you don't know as much as you think you know about yourself. And I think that before you know anybody else, you should know about yourself. To give a better, God bless my dad's soul, he was really a wise man. And he said, treat every interaction as a transaction. So I met Jared on the road. Treat my interaction with him as a transaction.
Try to give
And
him
we
knowledge.
all want the best out of any transaction. We want the upper side of it. So put into it what you want to get out.
You mentioned that person you was in a relationship was damaged. You don't
Right.
think it best to
Leave the situation.
no, not leave, but allow. You don't think it best for someone to be. How am I going with this? You don't think it best to go with someone who is healed or not damaged?
At the end, everybody will be damaged at some point, I feel,
Yes.
with different things.
Yeah.
Right? And
So it's
as
how
you
much
said-
damage you're willing to take.
I feel I understand
Yeah,
where he.
coming
No,
from.
because
Yeah.
you mentioned that she was damaged. Is
Right.
that when you're reaching the relationship, you find out she was damaged, or like you know she was damaged before, or are you one of those healers?
Okay. It's taking a little turn, I feel.
Okay. So
It starts to laugh.
so I go in.
I mean, you don't have to answer it. It could
No.
get personal.
I will answer
Okay.
it. It takes me to the entanglement issue
All right.
with Jada and Will Smith, right? If any of you all would have looked at the Red Table Talk, you'd see Jada spoke of her honing in on damaged people,
Right.
kind of to help heal herself as well. By healing them, she feels like she heals as well. There are people like that. And I'm not pointing any fingers at me, but there are
Yeah,
possibilities that I may be like that.
Right.
Yes, I would have known that she was damaged before the relationship, but a lot of times you don't know how damaged. You may, see me and come live with me is two different things
Right,
entirely.
right,
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't know how damaged, and I find that a lot of damaged people, and I'm guessing that it's based on the path that the Lord have me, and a lot of damaged people are drawn to me. Right? I don't know if I'm also drawn to them, but I find that a lot of damaged people they just come and talk to me.
Right.
So it's, I guess it's kind of my part of my calling,
Right.
you know, and I use my experiences, my own injuries, so to speak, to help them get through theirs. And also, like you all were saying, it's a both ways thing. I also learn from their damage, so to speak. And I learned a lot, you know, and from each relationship I took stuff, I learned stuff and took it to the next relationship, you know. So I became better, I evolved,
Right.
so to
Exactly.
speak.
I understand.
And I think that if you're not learning, I think I did well, because if you're not learning in life, I think you're not living.
Exactly.
You know?
Factual.
Yeah.
Factual.
Especially in a relationship,
Yeah.
right? And one thing I want to draw reference to where he says that you, although she was damaged, you took the onus upon yourself to go and seek counseling
Yeah.
to better the relationship. So it shows that you always had the right intention
Yes.
from the jump, from the get-go, because you wouldn't see a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you damaged. I'm gonna try to fix myself
Right.
and you as well."
Right.
Right? But at the end of the day, I say, like, everything in life is a learning process. So
Yeah.
that in itself, even though it didn't work out there,
Yeah.
I clearly see you as blessed and saying afterwards, right? Right?
Right.
I know the wifey felt more anything.
No.
Right? But you took that as a learning experience and that helped you on in your relationship after.
Yes. And if I would like to, you know, share with you all that even though I was willing to help that way, you know, not all the time people could recognize help. Not all
True.
the time they want it. And I had a real struggle with that, you know. So why wouldn't this person let me help them? You know, sometimes people don't want to be helped. And you can't help, you know, they bring the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink.
Right.
You know, so that would have been, you know, one of the reasons that didn't work out that way.
I understand.
You know,
Yeah, I actually had a quote put into exactly what you just said there. I was actually digging in the phone for is like somebody you're willing to sacrifice the world for could turn around and tell you that they never asked you to do that. And they would be right at the end of the day.
Yes.
Right? And they would be right at the end of the day.
But I took it as learning, you
Uh,
know. So I've said to myself before, hey, these last 4 years was a waste of my time and a thing. But you know, it's all about how you look at it. And you know, you have to look at it as, hey, I learned experience. I learned stuff for that last 4 years. It didn't work out, but I came away with this learning, that learning. So you know, if you meet the same thing, which happens in life in the future, you're able to recognize it from a distance. and-
Okay.
Yeah.
It's for the red flags one time. So, as we're on the topic of family, right? So, I'm a person, people would come to talk to me about certain issues they're going through and whatnot. And so, I have a friend, she was talking to me about an issue in which that she was facing right now. So, an issue that involves her and her parents. So, she's from a certain ethnicity, right? And she likes somebody of a totally different ethnicity. And right now that's causing a rift between her parents and her. And as a lot of points in which we have touched on previously in this podcast will be the reproachfulness, lack of support, communication, and just all-out tension and belittling is what she's facing right now due to that, right? And I am a person, I believe that at some point in time, you need to know when to stand up for yourself, whether it be amongst friends, foes, or even your family and your parents, right? And in the process of you standing up against them, they might watch you and say, hey, you're rude, you're disrespectful. As a parent here, you can come and tell me what you want to do with your life. You know, I'm the parent. I trying to live your life, my life via you. And that's the thing a lot of people, I realize a lot of parents like to do. They'll want to live their lives through their children.
I don't want to make the same mistakes
I make.
So I can make my mistakes.
Exactly, and life is a learning experience. So,
That's so true.
true,
So I had to make no mistakes.
right? Nobody's perfect at the end of the day. And like, some things just is like that, okay, mom will like go and message her friends or her phone to get information of the individual himself. And you would make certain remarks about the individual due to where the person lives geographically. Oh, there's a hot, what is crime? All over Trinidad are crime. Just saying, right? As well as the person family, you'll say like, hey, the person could have this, that, and the other. And my old son was like, but if somebody talk about you in the same light in which your mom talk about this individual, that she does not know this individual, you know, she don't like it. That wrong how somebody could talk about you in that light. They don't know you. You understand? Right. So I was like, yo, you don't know, at some point in time when you have to stop take disrespect, especially from your parents, and they might watch it in a form that you being disrespectful to them. But I believe as you stand up against certain things, you evolve in yourself. You become a person that, okay, you realize, okay, this is the last time I'm taking crap from not just the parents, but everybody in general, and you evolve to be a better person. So what are your thoughts on that in that instance?
I think you're very right, Rob. And my follow-up point to that, which he ended up touching on, is, you know, you can't see it as a parent. You just have to see that you stand up for you. So it really, like I said, it doesn't matter who it is. It's you standing up for yourself or for what you believe. You know. So yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, guys, that is family. Whether you are a member of a family that you don't like and want to cancel that membership, or
Terminate.
or whether you absolutely adore your family, we know how hard.
That terminate members of the family. We could do
No,
that.
no, I wasn't saying that.
No, terminate the family title.
Yeah,
Your
family
associates. Membership denied.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we love them. Sometimes we love them. Sometimes we hate them. But that was Family Matters. This is episode 13 of the Culture Tribe. Go follow us on
Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the Culture Tribe, as well as our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel and share, comment, and continue following us for all the updates. Israel, we are so grateful to have you here today. The conversation was thick, it was heavy, it was light, I don't know how to feel.
Meaningful, give wisdom, knowledge, everything.
Yeah, I feel like I need to go counseling. You know, so we're really grateful to have you here in studio, especially on these topics that I know that our audience will be grateful that we are touching on. And yeah, that's us. That's the Vibe Tribe.
Is Robbie, you wanna do the outro? I mean,
The outro.
voice.
Okay, see
Well,
us.
the pleasure is mine. I'm absolutely thrilled when I met your producer, and he told me what he does. I was like, I'm always excited to meet like-minded people, and you know, I was really excited. John,
Yeah, Israel. We all
I know the
excited
feeling, I know the
here.
feeling, I know the
I can
feeling.
feel the excitement.
So the pleasure is mine. You know, anytime.
Thanks. We're glad to have you.
Thanks again, Israel, for stopping by today and blessing us with your knowledge and wisdom. So, guys, this is Rob the Voice from the Culture Tribe.
I am Gerard the One.
And I'm Shelby Out and Bad.
Israel Duncan.
And thank you for having us in your life today. See you next episode 14. And if you all have any topics that you all would want us to discuss or even touch on, feel free to hit us up via personal or even on all of our The Culture Tribe platforms.